This is a picture of surrealist Salvador Dali. He lived in the period 1904 to 1984. I love this interesting statement by him that would uh, would sort of expose the mind of a surrealist. And it states, "The difference between a madman and me is that I am not mad." Here we have a fascinating depiction. You can almost sense a bit of uh, ancient art versus Renaissance versus modern art. It's all here wrapped up in one in this depiction. You see surrealist forms, elaborative forms, contortions, and you see suffering and pain. Perhaps I see that, and you may see something different. Salvador Dali doing what he does. We are born as our own selves, and uniqueness follows an individual whom lets his or her creativity run free to venture outside the norm. That envelopes a being in which we, as his or her environment of critics, might term as linearly wayward. Such was the case with Salvador Dali. Metaphorically, he was an artist on his own planet, and I meant that in jest. In my opinion, Dali traveled the artistic road as a cubist gone wild. Yet the canon of the art world depicted him as a surrealist. I have always been fascinated with his style. Looking keenly at his art, Dali's vision, though it's primarily elaborative works, is like watching a 3D movie in an amphitheater of the mind. His depth of field and imagery are outstanding. Perhaps the riveting abstraction in his art stemmed from his middle class yet tumultuous behavior, which challenged his strict upbringing. Although, in my view, the core catalyst could be based upon his heartfelt feelings about the death of his mother by his statement, "I could not resign myself to the loss of a being on whom I counted to make invisible the unavoidable blemishes of my soul." Looking at this piece, as Dali is well noted for his very unique ways of expressing time, I'm reminded of the rapper of today, Flavor Flav. Perhaps Flavor Flav might have gotten his inspiration to wear clocks in this regard, but nonetheless, the art is very interesting at how he perceives time. Here again, you can see somewhat of a cubic but surreal look on Spears and the culmination of human versus still objects or inanimate objects, if you will, in that rotation. This is like mimicking a nightmare, if you will, a dreamscape in REM sleep, and trying to really put life together in one perspective. Here we are. We have a depiction on time again, more of somewhat of an extravaganza with time exploding and time being more or less trapped in its own moment. And it's very interesting. Notice the dimension and the depth and the way in which he catapults or causes your eyes to just be drawn to the multi-dimensional uh, elements in this one piece. This is of course the height of surrealism, contorted uh, anatomy of perhaps a woman, perhaps uh, depicting separation, decay of existence or society. It can be interpreted in all different kinds of ways. Nonetheless, a very interesting piece, and it begs for all kinds of different interpretations. Here is Dali's interpretation. Perhaps one could title this Mother Earth or Mother Nature, as a seemingly female figure emanating from the earth and is being in one accord with nature. I chose this piece entitled Romeo and Juliet. It's likened to the Egyptian art where you have the spiritual uh, connection with part animal and part man. I can just see this and envision this on the caves of the Stone Age. When a viewer steps into Dali's world, an inferred perception about his art can be taken as both correct and incorrect. Dali didn't dwell on a straight line. The answer to any of his creations could lead the viewer's eyes in multiple directions for the surreal truth. Here is something pretty basic: sleep being depicted by Salvador Dali. He touches every subject matter I think one can dream of. So, sleep, a depiction. This surrealist piece is mimicking, I think, somewhat of an apocalypse, an age of everything gone wild, where there's a sense of lawlessness, where evil is being staved off by the Holy Ghost, and Dali just seems to have fun at his elaborative style in this depiction.